because for now we have with us on set Honorable George Aladwa, who's the MP for Makadara. Karibu sana to the show.
Asante.
It's great to have you here this morning. We appreciate you making the time.
You.
And we have quite a number of issues to discuss here, Honorable. Many political things have been bubbling here in the country. And of course, Kenyans also wondering if this is the right time for them to be happening. Just yesterday, we were debating about whether we should be prioritizing the economy reopening or the health of our people, considering the numbers are increasing exponentially so. Very quickly, what's your take on that?
My take on that is we deal first with the coronavirus pandemic. That is very important because that is health. Secondly, we need our economy to be good so that Kenyans can enjoy. Third, we go for politics because we have transition politics because of 2022.
Right.
And that is very important because you cannot say that we are dealing with the pandemic and we are leaving 2022 political issue out. It cannot be held like that.
Okay.
So for me, that's my take.
Okay. So does that mean, you know, June 6th, do you think the curfew should continue, for example? People are talking about reopening the economy, but at the same time, we're being told that we've not even reached the peak of this COVID-19 here in Kenya. That's coming in maybe August or September, which is still a few months away. So what do you do between now and then?
For me, I'm happy because Kenyans are learning and they're following the rules of the corona issue. And for me, I'm appealing to the president to uplift the curfew because many people are suffering down there. They don't have jobs, the business are down, and people don't have money. And when you lock people in the house because of time, and they don't have anything to do, they don't have anything to bring on board for food, like food for the family. So me, I'm appealing to the president to uplift the lockdown time.
Okay. All right. Well, let's turn to some other issues here today. Of course, there's been this tremendous rift between, or at least publicly now, we seem to see this rift between the president and the deputy president. And Rift Valley MPs and elders are now differing on how to reconcile the two. A section of Jubilee MPs from Rift Valley allied to Deputy President are on a collision course with the Kalenjin Council of Elders over the 2022 succession. The elders claim that the community risks not clinching the presidency in 2022 due to the battle for control of Rift Valley votes between Mr. RUTO and Mr. Gideon Moi. And so they plan on reaching out to President Uhuru Kenyatta and the Deputy President in a bid to end this ongoing war between them. So from where you stand, you know, as a member of parliament who is obviously very involved with the political affairs of this country, clearly, I guess this marriage is broken. Yeah,
the marriage is broken. You can see from the events taking place between the president and his deputy. And you know, when you have the boss, your boss, you need to be very careful going around the country and doing your things. At one time, I was the deputy mayor, and I have my boss, Majiwa, was the mayor, and I have to be good under his leadership.
So do you feel that the deputy president has overstepped his boundaries?
Of course, he has stepped his boundaries because when you go to Central where the president has a lot of support, you go everywhere doing harambes and people rebuking the president in front of you. It is very wrong. And you see, when the respect is not there, you'll face the consequence. Yes.
But now, obviously, this is bringing in a lot of hopefully it doesn't spin off into ethnic politics, because now you can already hear sentiments of communities saying, you know, sasa hatutapata if, you know, these two are not seeing, you know, eye to eye, or now our community might miss out on 2022. And frankly, as a Kenyan myself, I'm really tired of that type of politics. I don't really care where the person is from. I think we're at a point in time, and this COVID has shown us, it's not about where you're from or which family name you carry. We need people who are actually going to do what they say they're going to do.
I think, Joyce, we cannot go that way, the line of tribal politics, because Kenyans, we're about 50 million with so many tribes, and the president is calling upon all Kenyans to come together. And when he's calling upon all Kenyans to come together, they're building bridges with his brother Raila, and you can see they're not talking politics, they're building bridges to bring all Kenyans together before 2022. And when people are being called to come together, that's the spirit we want. Yes.
Okay. Well, speaking of this building bridges, and you've called him Brother Raila.
Yes.
Of course, kuna fununu nayo pia inaanza, chini chini, about referendums, taking BBI again back out into the country and, talking to Kenyans about this. Do we really need this at this time? Considering all the problems we're facing.
We have problems, but we need the politics. Because you cannot say you have this corona thing and you cannot talk about politics.
But do we need politics or do we need solutions? We need our leaders to be providing solutions to Mwananchi.
They're providing solutions. And you see, when you're providing solutions, also the Mwananchi are asking us, what's their plans for 2022? They're also asking.
Are they?
Yes, they're asking. Down there, they're asking. What's your plans in 2022? Because they belong in our parties. I'm in ODM. We have people in Jubilee, and they're asking what's going on between Raila and President Kenyatta. And we have to tell them, because we have this BBI thing, we have this handshake thing. They have to know. So they are members of our parties, and Aladwa is the chairman of the party in ODM for Nairobi.
Sure. But how then is BBI, I'm really trying to understand how BBI is helping Mwananchi at this point, right? Because we've been talking about floods. We're talking about people losing their homes. We're talking about unavailability of just basic necessities to take care of this population during this time. Our economy is almost shattered at this point. We have debt bleeding out of our noses and our ears. How is BBI specifically going to help Mwananchi?
It will help Mwananchi because, you see, when they started this thing of handshake last year, but one, then they came with this thing of BBI. It was there before the pandemic. So when the pandemic came, the BBI was going on with we were going on with the rallies. So they stopped because of this thing. Because now we want the president to uplift the curfew thing. And we want to talk politics. We cannot stop talking politics in Kenya. And Kenyans like politics.
They do, but I think they value, I think many more Kenyans now are waking up to the fact that our politicians have not been doing what we need them to do.
No, they have been doing. Like me, I'm doing so well in Makadara because I'm in touch with the people of Makadara. It depends on the member of parliament. And when you are elected to lead people, you have to do what they want. Yes, because we have this CDF money. It is ongoing. Okay. The projects are ongoing. Okay. Like in my place, they're ongoing.
Okay. Well, still on Mr. Raila, he has claimed that his deal with President Uhuru was only on reforms, right? Mr. Odinga said neither the president's Jubilee Party nor ODM had approached the other over the possibility of forming a coalition. The former Prime Minister has also asked Kenyans to prepare for a referendum, with speculations that he was in talks with President Kenyatta to have members of his party incorporated in a government of national unity. What is it that we as Mwananchi are not seeing? Why is it that we need a referendum? Why can't these policy changes be done without a referendum? Secondly, how are we going to pay for a referendum when we already have debt that is overtaking this country? And a referendum is an expensive exercise, is it not?
It's a very expensive exercise, and that was a plan. It was planned in the budget for this year, so that we can get that referendum. Because people are wondering what will happen 2022. And also you have talked about Raila and Uhuru partnership. Raila has not declared that he's running for the president 2022. And it is us in ODM who will convene our national executive, that's NEC, council, to propose for him to stand for president. Okay. For now, it's just bringing people together, the Kenyans together with the president, so that they can live a united country.
Okay.
Because what we need now is a united country. Don't need people to fight. That I cannot talk to a Kikuyu, Kikuyu cannot talk Aluya, Aluya cannot talk to Aluo. That is bad.
And that's okay. So if you, as the ODM party, are going to be pushing for Honorable Raila to stand and vie for presidency in 2022, why is he pushing for a referendum? What is this referendum for?
Referendum is bringing people together, all people together, so that we can have other people, other tribes in government.
Why can't we have them anyways? Because you've said we're already a 50 million population country. Do we need like a referendum for us to actually pull people together?
Not pull people together. We need this referendum so that we can change some other aspects, so that we can bring people together to see that we remain as Kenyans. You know, at the past we have been fighting. All of after election we fight, after election we fight. But this one now, I can see we're not going to fight. Just going to have a good election and people will be happy.
So what will this referendum address or change that's, I guess you're saying, has not been working so far, so that we don't have these issues in future?
It will change because it will bring other leaders on the board. Because as we are talking now, we have the deputy president, we have the president. We need to have deputy prime minister, we need to have prime minister, we need to have other positions.
Do we though? Because if we were to think of Kenya as a company, a big company, right? You have one CEO, and then he has a deputy maybe, and then there's different people leading different departments. How are we going to say that we need to have, 5 deputy CEOs or 2 CEOs or whatever it's going to be? It's not efficient. Already our wage bill is so high.
No, for me it is efficient, because in other countries like Tanzania, just our neighbor here, Uganda, Rwanda, it's working. It's working and people are not complaining. Why Kenya? Joyce, why
you feel
Kenya?
that it's working?
Yes,
in
it will work.
Uganda and Tanzania?
It will work, and it will bring people together, and we have a united nation.
Well, I'm going to ask our audience what they think about this one. I have to say I'm not necessarily convinced just yet, but let me hear what our audience have to say about this. 22999 is the SMS line. I think we still have a few minutes before we go on break. And so in that time, let's also talk about President Uhuru's allied MPs speaking on RUTO's impeachment claims. A group of MPs allied to President Kenyatta have warned members of Team Tanga Tanga to be careful of what they wish for their leader, warning that they could be forced to bring a motion to impeach the deputy president should circumstances call for it. The MP spoke on Monday, hours after a fake document emerged on social media suggesting that the National Assembly had scheduled a motion to impeach the DP for gross violation of the Constitution and misconduct. And again, this is one of those ones, imekuwa ikichemka huko chini chini kidogo for a while now.
I'm happy you have called it a fake document.
Yes.
Even my name was there, number 98. And there's nothing like that. That's a propaganda. And you know, when propaganda there, people will talk. But for now, I've not heard about any impeachment. But when it comes, we'll deal with it. We deal with it.
But we're saying when it comes, you almost sound sure that there's
when it comes. For now, it's not there.
It's not there. But do you think there would be a motion?
It is not there.
Do you think there will be?
No, it's not there.
Okay.
And I don't think.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I think this will be a good point for us to take a break then. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about, hosting, President Uhuru Kenyatta will be hosting a virtual Madaraka Day celebration. Also, the debate about whether we should be opening up schools again, and as well as coronavirus chronicles here in the country. All of that is coming your way. And I do need to remind you, as we get ready to take on all of that, we are trying to make sure that you guys are staying safe and healthy during this time. And so very quickly, let me just remind you about how to stay healthy, or rather tips to stay and work from home. Now, when you're working from home, please do try and schedule time periods where you are at work, okay? And do your work in a dedicated home office space. Communicate your working arrangements and schedule to your family and ask them to respect them. Just so that you don't lose sight of the bigger picture, make an effort to maintain contact with your co-workers to ensure efficiency. Ensure that you take a break every now and then to maintain workflow and improve your productivity. Also, try as much to replicate your regular workday, which means at the end of the workday, stop working. Ensure you clean and disinfect all your surfaces and objects that are regularly used while avoiding any house guests or visiting your friends and family. Remember, as you protect yourself from COVID, you protect your community from COVID-19. With that said, let's take this break and we'll be back in just a bit with Honorable George Aladwa here, the MP for Makadara. And if you're from that constituency, Jameni, too many SMS, your MP is here in studio. I'm sure he'd be happy to hear from you. Amanamna Gani.
Kabisa, kabisa.
Excellent. All right, we'll be back. Hey there everybody, my name is Joyce Omondi Wahiga. Karibuni tena to Full Circle with Joyce. This is the second hour of our show. Certainly hope that you're well this morning, and if you missed the first hour, we were talking about anger management, very important conversation there, and we began talking with our current guest. His name is Honorable George Aladwa, and he's the MP for Makadara constituency here in Nairobi, and we've been tackling events of the week in brief with him. We're going to be jumping back into that conversation shortly, but in this hour you can also expect our conversation with comedian Mulamwa, and later on we're going to be talking about Menstrual Health Week as well. But for now, let me share with you our quote for the day. It's by H. Jackson Brown Jr. and it says, "Never let the odds keep you from doing what you know in your heart you were meant to do." I'll read that again. Never let the odds keep you from doing what you know in your heart you were meant to do. And certainly there's many things that a lot of us obviously had planned for or would really desire to do. And just because of the times, the situations that we're in, many of us have been really discouraged in this season. But you know, keep going, keep dreaming about it, keep planning for it, and keep pursuing your dreams and your goals. Don't allow these situations to completely bog you down. Challenges happen to all of us. You know, all of us will always face different struggles in this life. The winners are the ones who get back up and stay in the ring. Okay, so be encouraged with that this morning. But karibu tena to our guest here, Honorable George Aladwa. Good to have you here this morning. And he, of course, is the MP for Makadara constituency here in Nairobi, a very solid member of the ODM party, if I may say. And many of you would also remember him as being technically the last mayor of Nairobi. After 2011, and our new constitution now changed that to a gubernatorial seat. And previously he was with the chair, was it the chair of AFC?
Yes,
Secretary General of AFC Leopards. All right, so quite a nice history he has there with him. But still speaking on your term as mayor and the governor's seat now. There was a time you were really saying that you want to go for the gubernatorial seat. Is that still part of your ambition for 2022?
That's my ambition, and I'm also planning to contest for the seat 2022.
Okay.
And I've already announced, and plans are underway with my team.
Okay.
So that we can get the seat.
All right. Nairobi, obviously, we've gone through some hard times with the seat. You know, there's been a bit of uncertainty too, even as far as its leadership. What are some of the things that you think you're going to fix?
You know, when I was the mayor of this city, I've been there for 3 years, and you remember I did well because the issues of hawkers, the issue of city inspectorate, those issues were, I tried to make sure that we have a good city. And you know, when I left, we had so many problems after 2013. And as a mayor, I think my record is very clear. And people are happy that I was the mayor and I did well. And urging me to contest the governor seat 2022. And that's why I have a big support.
Okay.
Yes.
Are there any key projects or particular things that you'd want to see done during your term?
You see, this city is big. Is a county, at the same time is a capital of Kenya.
Being a mayor of the city is very different from being a governor.
And you see, by that time, we didn't have the kind of money the governors have this time, because the budget was small and we did well. But these people have a lot of money as governors and they're stealing. They're stealing, not development on the ground.
Okay.
And what we need is development. When people see development on the ground, they'll be happy with you and they'll support you. But when they hear that you are eating their money, that will be the end of you.
All right, well, we'll see how that plays out. But moving away from you, I want us to get back into the events of the week. And of course, earlier I was really asking you about BBI and the referendum, and you seem to say, or you strongly believe, that the referendum is important for us as Kenyans. You feel that it's going to bring us together, at least have more voices at the top seat. But I'm still questioning whether BBI is what we need right now as a country. And a lot of people on our SMS line seem to agree with me. In fact, someone here is saying we don't need a referendum to bring Kenyans together. Kenyans are tired of this greed for power. And then another here says, additionally, I've not heard the MP give a satisfactory answer on how the BBI process is helping us right now. We as Kenyans don't need politics right now. We need experts to help us navigate the healthcare system, the economy, the issue of reopening schools and such, not succession politics. After all, 2022 isn't too far away. Plus, the MP says that the referendum was already budgeted for, but it raised questions. And the same way that sisi kwa nyumba zetu, we've had to reallocate our resources, considering the times, Kenyans are saying, why aren't we reallocating resources considering the times? We can't say that because it was budgeted for, we still have to do it.
Those are their views. You asked me my views. I've given my views as a leader. Because you asked me. Because when I am a leader and I go to my constituency with development, which I'm doing on the ground, they will also ask me, what you are planning for 2022? The way you have asked me. So those are my views as a leader. And those are their views as wananchi. And you know, as Kenyans, we have been having this BBI thing for almost a year now, before the pandemic issue came. And we have been having this handshake thing before the pandemic. So as the nation, as the government is addressing these pandemic issues, also we have politics on the way going on. We cannot stop politics because something has come in between there. We are praying to God that the pandemic issue to go away. But also we have this 2022 succession. And you know, when you have 1 year to election, this is the moment we need to be very careful.
But this, I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, this same pandemic, I think what Kenyans are saying is let's prioritize, right? We need to prioritize the current state of our country, not succession politics. This COVID has ravaged our economy. Kenyans are out of jobs. They're having pay cuts. They no longer have healthcare services that they can rely on. And so the question is, why aren't we prioritizing that? Don't you think it's offensive to wananchi that are sleeping outside and not having food?
It is not offensive, Joyce, because this pandemic issue, the government has addressed it. It is number one in this country. Every day, with the Minister CS Kagwe, with the President addressing the nation every now and then. And you can see when people are suffering, I've said, people are suffering down there. People don't have food. And we are praying, I've appealed to the President to rethink of opening the curfew.
But the numbers are increasing.
The numbers are increasing.
We hit 100 plus the other day.
But now you see, when they're increasing, we can just open things to move fast. Then the way the President of United States has done, because we cannot run away from the pandemic issue of Corona. It is there, and we are following the rules. You see, when you follow the rules, like the way we had the Ebola at one time, we had the Ebola, we had the HIV. We are staying with the HIV even today. So we need to be careful. Following the guidelines from the government, and you cannot run away from this thing, because if you say you want to be locked down in the house, you're not going out to look for food or for your daily whatever. I'm just saying, I'm pleading with the President to reopen, because he has already appointed Raila to oversee the economic issue. That one is being addressed. The minister is there, and the entire teams all over Kenya.
Well, let me get to some more SMSs then. Again, these are sentiments from, and as much as you're saying it's their opinions, these are people who perhaps might be voting for you or not voting for you in 2022, right? So their opinions would certainly matter at this point. But someone here says, which Kenya are you bringing together through the referendum, Kikuyu and Luo, or just creating positions for greedy individuals? Another says, political processes determine the direction leadership takes in addressing the pandemic and every development agenda. Someone here says, Honorable Aladwa, in an earlier letter to Speaker Beatrice Elachi, claimed to have been directed by ODM leader Raila Odinga to instruct the party's MCAs not to support Sonko's impeachment. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
I did it.
All right.
I cannot deny. As the chairman, I did it.
Okay, okay. Someone else says, I think this referendum thing is just for some leaders who want to satisfy their own interest and make their stomachs full while millions of Kenyans are suffering. When it comes to that, we just be quiet and watch because we don't have any power to stop it. God have mercy on Kenya. That's Mary from Kitengela. Another one here is saying they're feeling like you've been, I don't want to use, okay, let me just use the word they've used. They're saying that you've been brainwashed by Raila to believe that Raila has this country's best interest at heart. But they're saying that he is power hungry. They also claim that Uhuru and RUTO are the worst leaders Kenya has ever had, and that all of them are bad. And there's many young Kenyans who are growing up with these sentiments, right? Because we've just heard of these, is it 4 names, and these families. And many people just saying, we just want fresh blood. We don't want the same names that we've been hearing. What's your take on that, and to what extent do you agree?
First of all, I've not been brainwashed by Raila. I'm just an ODM member, and Raila is my party leader. I have to respect him, because as a party leader, I have to be loyal to the party and to my party leader. So I've not been brainwashed, and I cannot be brainwashed. I'm a leader. I was elected to lead the people, so I have my respect. And I respect that guy,
well said.
His opinion. What I'm telling you, these 4 families you are talking about, people will be talking about every time about Raila, about Uhuru Kenyatta, about Gideon Moi and others. Let me tell you for now, you see, when you don't have support, you cannot come with a fresh team like me and you and form a party and people to follow us. They cannot. In Kenya, we have people who have built themselves politically, and you cannot wash them away and say that Raila is a power hungry. He has not said he's contesting for 2022. He's just building bridges with the president and putting things together.
But he doesn't have to say
leaders.
it, because you guys say it for him. You've said as ODM you want to encourage him to.
No. I've said when time reach, we will convene a national delegates conference for ODM, that is NDC, for the members to deliberate. How can we move with this 2022 election? Who will be our candidate? Then from there we can talk. And that's the time we say, as ODM, we can propose Raila to run for the president. It's not bad, because we are the members of ODM and we have a stake in this party.
All right.
Yes.
Another here says, hey Joyce, for me, I don't see any case or any need for a referendum, and it will just be bringing more leaders into the national government. It will just lead to more disunity in the country. So far, we are still far from recovery of the economy. Politics should take a break so that we can deal with the issues at hand. Another says, I don't buy that during a time like this one, Kenyans are more interested in matters BBI and all of this politicking that is of no benefit to us. Another says, if referendum entails voting, how will we vote with social distancing? Your line itakuwa refu kabisa.
Your line itakuwa refu, and we need that guideline to be followed. And even now, people are trying to reach that social distance, and they're keeping social distance. And that is one of the guidelines from the Ministry of Health. And we have to follow it.
Okay.
And that is good.
Unfortunately, my time is up, but let me finish with this one. Ferdinand Wangila is saying Honorable Aladwa is doing a good job. Joyce, kindly request him to complete a small storage project in Kingston that was started by Honorable Mutura and has stalled since then. They only need 3 pipes.
Yes, in where?
In Kingston.
Yeah, that is in Vandani ward, and I can. What I can say in Vandani ward, I have my pilot project. My pilot project for Makadara, it's in Vandani ward. I've built another school from down. That's Star of Hope, and I've had that request.
Will you
I'll
take
follow
it
up? Yes, I'll follow up with him.
Ferdinand
you.
Wangila, Honorable Aladwa, has promised to take on that project.
I need his number.
All right, I'll give you his number. Thank you if that's okay, if I'm allowed to do that. But thank you for coming on to the show. Thank you for just engaging us on these topics here today. As you can see, the sentiments of Kenyans are also very strong on both sides of the divide. So hopefully that's something.
But what I've said first of all, is about our health. That one I support. Secondly, is about our economy. That one I support. Thirdly, we need to talk about 2022. So first of all, I've talked about the health. Secondly, economy. And third, politics, which is good for me.
All right. All right. Well, thank you once again for your time. And just before we release you, let me let our guests know that we'll be back after this short break. I believe we have our comedian Mulama coming up next. And stay tuned. This is Full Circle with Joyce.